Okay, welcome to this video for parallel lines and equations practice. We're going to go over a couple together, but in every one you're going to determine what type of relationship is shown, and you can use the word bank. You don't want to cross them off though, because you're going to use the words more than once. You're going to determine whether the two angles add up to 180 or if they're congruent. Now I'm going to give you a hint to start. There is only one set of angles here that are supplementary. So you've got to figure out which ones those are. Then you're going to write an equation and solve the equation. So let's do a couple together as an example. We're going to do number 1 together, number 4, and number 8. So starting with number 1, as I look at these two angles, I notice that both of them are on the outside of the parallel lines, and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. That makes them alternate exterior. So here I'm going to write alt ext. Alternate exterior angles are congruent. That means that they're equal. So since they're equal, I'm going to start with the angle that has the letter inside it first, and I'm going to write this angle here, 8x, equals this other angle, 64. So now I've written an equation. Now I have to solve the equation. So if you remember before, to solve an equation, we do the opposite. So first I'm going to divide the equation into two parts. This is multiplication. It's one step. So the opposite of multiply is to divide. So I divide both sides by 8. That means x equals 8. So this angle is 64 degrees, but the value of x is 8 because 8 times 8 is 64. So that's number 1. Now I'm all finished. Let's try number 4. So in number 4, I have two angles. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Two angles that are inside the parallel lines, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. That makes these angles alternate interior. Sorry, alternate int. Alternate interior angles are congruent. Notice how they're both obtuse. So they're actually equal. So what I do is I first write the angle with the letter in it, x. And since they're congruent, they're equal, I write that equals 136. So there's my equation, and it's already solved. I know that the angle equals 136 and x equals 136. So I circle that, and now I'm finished. Now let's try number 8. In number 8, again, I have two angles that are on the outside of the parallel lines, but they're on opposite sides of the transversal. That makes them alternate exterior. Now remember, there's a word bank at the top of the page if you get stuck on the other ones. Alternate exterior angles are congruent, so that means that this angle here and this angle here are the same measurement. They're equal. Now both of them have x's in them, so it doesn't matter which one I write first, but I'm going to write this one first, 6x. So 6x minus 28 is the value of this angle. This one equals the one at the top. So I write that equal sign, and I write what's written inside the angle, 4x plus 8. Now I have to solve the equation. This is an equation that has variables on both sides. So if we learned this before, we remember that the first thing we should do is move this one over to the left. So to move it, I need to do the opposite. So the opposite of positive 4x is negative 4x. So I give a negative 4x to both sides. 6x and negative 4x gives me 2x's. Now I'm going to copy everything I still have. Minus 28 equals, and what's left over here, 8. So now I just have a two-step equation to solve. So to solve a two-step equation, I either add or subtract first, and I divide or multiply last. So I do the opposite to solve. The opposite of subtract 28 is to add 28 to both sides. That's 36. And I bring down the 2x because that's what's left over. So 2x equals 36. My last step is the opposite of multiply is divide. So I divide both sides by 2. X equals 18. To check this, I would do 6 times 18, and I would subtract 28. So when someone did 6 times 18 minus 28, we got 80. And then on the other side, I do 4 times 18, because that's what x equals, and I add 8. Do I still get 80? And yes, we do. So this checks. So that means that x equals 18. It means this angle in here is actually 80 degrees, but that x equals 18. All right, so those were 3 examples. I hope that helps you with your homework. Thanks.